Possible presidential candidate Bernie Sanders may be getting a bump from Mayor Bill de Blasio. Now, I go to an article here that talks about how Mayor Bill de Blasio has actually skipped a Clinton rally and has decided to heap praise upon our favorite senator, Bernie Sanders, from Vermont. Now, this article says, one of Hillary Clinton's rivals for 2016 Democratic presidential nomination received an informal boost from a curious source. And this source, Bill de Blasio, also happened to be Mrs. Clinton's former campaign manager. Interesting. Now, de Blasio, of course, managed Clinton's 2000 campaign for Senate and supported her 2008 presidential bid. Now, he said at an unrelated news conference that I've always liked what I've heard from Bernie Sanders. I think Bernie Sanders is a great senator, is a great voice for a fair society and a fair economy. Now, what about Clinton? Well, he also said something about Clinton. I'm waiting to hear, as I've said, her larger vision for addressing income inequality. See, that's something that we haven't heard. We haven't heard a lot of concrete positions from Hillary Clinton on a lot of different things. We've heard some things like the voting thing, which is great. Income inequality, haven't really heard much. Trade, the TPP. We have not heard much from Hillary Clinton, but we've heard a ton from Bernie Sanders. You see, that's what a lot of people like about Bernie Sanders, is that instead of being vague, he's actually going out there and saying, here are the issues, and here's what I want to do about them. He already wants to make college free, right? And pay for it by taxing the wealthy, of course. He wants to bring taxes up to 90% on the wealthy, break up the big banks. He's been very specific on policy issues and what he wants to do. And he's setting up a progressive agenda. That's something Hillary Clinton hasn't done. Now, Bill de Blasio, who is also fairly progressive, agrees with that, likes that. He's like, I like where Bernie Sanders is at, and I respect him. He is a good voice for a fair society. Now I want to hear what Clinton has to say. And that's kind of funny because you think he would already know where Clinton stands on these issues since he had worked on her campaign in 2000, 2008. Well, once again, I think that goes back to the whole trust issue. Obviously, politicians can evolve on their specific issues, their specific platforms. You don't even know where she was at now on income inequality? Interesting. Now, it wasn't just praise for Bernie Sanders, of course, coming from Bill de Blasio. Let's be fair, Bill de Blasio also praised Mrs. Clinton more extensively than he has since the start of her campaign. Now, he says, I've been very impressed by the comment she's given so far on a host of issues. I saw her speech on voting rights. It was very powerful. I'll agree with that. I thought her vision for that was exactly right. I'm very impressed by her criminal justice reform speech. I also enjoyed that. What I'm waiting for is to hear about the fight against income inequality, how we raise wages and benefits. Now, as I mentioned before, Bernie Sanders already has a plan. He wants to raise the minimum wage to at least $15 an hour. He wants to do it immediately, which I think is awesome. Now, Hillary Clinton, there's been recent stories where she kind of walked away from that support. So she's not saying, I support a minimum wage of $15 an hour. She's also saying that she doesn't support it. Once again, I think she's sticking her finger in the wind and seeing where it goes, where actually the winds are blowing, which, once again, as I said, does not lend much to her credibility. Now, he also told NBC that he would not endorse her until I see an actual vision of where she wants to go or where Bernie Sanders wants to go. He's not saying that he won't endorse Bernie Sanders. He's saying, let's see where they have to go. Let's see, let's wait and see, which I think is a smart approach since we still have a long time to go. Now, of Clinton, he said she's a tremendous public servant, I think she's one of the most qualified people to run for this office. And by the way, thoroughly vetted. We can say that, but we need to see the substance. Let's see the substance. I agree. So let's see the substance, and let's compare it to Sanders, and let's let the American public decide who is best to serve progressive values. I think we all know where I stand. But then again, I don't represent all of the American people.